Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Oz Perkins' latest movie, The Monkey. Released on February 21st, 2025, it is a darkly comedic movie my girlfriend and I enjoyed. Adapted from Stephen King's 1980 short story, the film intertwines humor and horror, presenting a narrative that can be unsettling in some moments, but largely amusing. Quick heads up, this review will contain some heavy spoilers, so please continue at your own risk. Alright, you've been warned, so I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. The story centers on twin brothers, Hal and Bill Shelburn, both portrayed by Theojames. As children, they discovered a vintage toy monkey in their father's attic. The monkey is a seemingly innocuous artifact that, when activated, triggers a series of inexplicable and gruesome deaths. Traumatized by the monkey madness, the boys sealed the monkey in a box and threw it down a well. Decades later, the monkey resurfaces, reigniting the cycle of death. Now an adult, Hal is a deadbeat dad who must confront his past and find the monkey. The Monkey is a pretty fun movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it also doesn't overdo the satire or the humor. The absurdity and the randomness of the deaths drives a lot of the humor. It's kind of like shock humor, but it's not quite shock humor. Or maybe it is and I'm just desensitized and I need to go touch grass. Speaking of the deaths, I think they're the highlight of this film and are what help make this movie unique. Every person dies in a unique way, whether it's being impaled on a mailbox or jumping into an electrified pool. It's all very dark, but it's also all so absurd that you can't help but laugh. I think I just described shock humor. Shock humor is a style of comedy intended to shock the audience and can be achieved through overt violent themes. Yeah, it's shock humor. Needless to say, this movie has a significant amount of gore. I'm not the biggest fan of gore unless it fits the narrative, and thankfully in this movie it does. I think another highlight is the monkey itself. It's an interesting and eerie narrative device because it's the harbinger of death. Every time it drums, someone dies. I love that the characters can't force the monkey to drum. Only the monkey gets to choose when its arms move. The toy itself looks and feels like it has an evil force attached to it. It's certainly not a toy that I would want around. There are two stars in this movie, Theojames and Christianconvery, who both play the adult and child versions of Hal and Bill. They each had a surprising amount of emotional distinction. Hal is more impressionable and afraid, while Bill is a narcissistic bully. There's a clear tension between both characters, and I love how Bill grew to be a very vengeful, grudging man who refuses to self-reflect and take accountability. Both actors are well cast and very impressive. More importantly, the conversations between Christian and himself and Theo and himself were seamless. It never felt like they were talking to themselves or a stand-in. Things flowed smoothly and the editing magic did its job. Another actor who is largely present in this movie is Colin O'Brien, Hal's son, Petey. To be honest, I didn't care too much about Petey. I felt bad that his dad was a bum, but he was also kind of a moody jerk, so it was hard to sympathize with him. I also don't like that he didn't appreciate his dad's attempts to protect him. Hal definitely could have communicated better, but still. The other actress I liked in this movie is Tatianamaslany. She seemed like a kooky mom who loved her sons, and her death was a bit shocking. I certainly liked her a lot more in this than I did in She-Hulk. The remainder of the supporting cast were good, but I don't really have anything to say about them other than RIP. Visually, I think Perkins does a good job of helping make this film look mundane and macabre. Because death can happen at any time, the most regular objects can feel ominous. Even an act as simple as opening a door can spell death. It's a very fun and creative way to add tension to the movie. I think what also helps with the tension is the music. There's an overall eerie ambience in this movie. Thankfully, it's never overwhelming because you can usually tell when someone's going to die. The music either starts to crescendo or the monkey's drumming carnival song alerts you ahead of time that someone is a goner. This movie kind of Pavlovs you in that way, so you never get jump scared, and I really appreciate that. I think the pacing for this movie was largely fine. I'm happy the runtime was only an hour and 38 minutes. Any longer and this movie would have started to drag. However, on that note, I do think the ending is a bit rushed. To be more specific, I think the climax was a little lackluster. Major spoilers, but Bill is the villain. He found the monkey again and has been twisting its key non-stop. Hal essentially talks him down and they reconcile, but that didn't really jive with me because the entirety of the movie showed me that Bill is a douche who only cares about himself. I don't know, I was just expecting a different kind of climax, but oh well. The Monkey is an entertaining blend of horror and humor that leans into its absurd premise. While the film's climax didn't fully land for me, the journey getting there was darkly comedic. Oz Perkins delivers a film that's self-aware but never smug, scary, and never oppressive. It's not a serious and terrifying movie like last year's Longlegs. In The Monkey, the unique deaths, clever editing, eerie sound design, and standout performances from Theojames and Christianconvery make this one of the more memorable Stephen King adaptations in recent years. It's not a perfect movie, but it knows exactly what it wants to be and it executes that vision with style. If you're into weird, creepy, dark comedy, then I can easily recommend this movie. If you're not a fan of gore or horror, definitely skip this one. And if you have a toy monkey in your house, then you should definitely throw it away. Thank you for listening to my review of The Monkey. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if there's anything you want to see from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.